So I want to start this off. You're probably going to get blackpilled about being a YouTuber. That's not the intention, but I'm telling you the things all these big education channels will not tell you. Also, welcome to this new idea. I don't know if it'll work out or not. But let's get this out of the way. You're going to fail a lot. I mean, that if there's nothing else I've learned over doing this for like a decade, well, coming up on 9 years, but a decade, you will fail a lot. This is like my main channel is like my 4th channel. You will fail a lot. That goes into the next point. The first 3 channels, on average, I'll say, you will likely fail. It took me, I had the original channel, my original online name, named The Great Goten. I was a big fan of Dragon Ball Z kid. Then I had a group channel. Then I had another group channel that you might know is the Appalachian Avengers if you've been here for a couple of years. Then I got JO3. A year or 2 after starting that, I finally started to make things work a little bit. It will take a while. Unless you know people in the industry, this is how these startup channels work. They either know people or they spent years working in the industry already. So yes, that means unless you're one of these people starting out with work in the industry or whatever, your videos are going to suck. I still think my videos aren't that great. Truthfully, they're a whole lot better than they were. If you go to the very oldest video just on the JO3 channel, compared to some of the stuff I'm doing now, at least the audio and video quality is a whole lot better. My editing's better. I still got a ways to go. Your thumbnails also are going to suck. Mine are more formulaic and they work for current YouTube landscapes. Do I think they're actually great? Not necessarily, but it's what works. So just keep that in mind. It's nothing you're necessarily doing wrong. It's just part of the course. You got to learn. You don't have a background in graphic design for thumbnails, they're going to suck. You don't draw or whatever. Drawing thumbnails are kind of the big thing now. So if you know how to draw and draw your own thumbnails, then you might be in luck. Videos, if you don't know video editing, they're going to suck for a while. Alongside all that, when you first start, it's going to feel lonely. It's going to suck. Networking sucks. That goes into the other point. Networking sucks. It's hard to actually establish real connections with people. There are many people I've talked to online that I don't speak to anymore, that nothing bad necessarily happened. It's just we kind of separated. The one thing that made us interact, we're no longer a part of, or we just naturally went away from each other's interest or whatever. It happens. There's very few connections that I've made long term that I actually those people I still talk to. So networking sucks. It's going to be lonely for a while because it takes forever to actually start meeting people. And now that I've successfully blackpilled you, we'll actually get into the good side of things. So these are my actual tips from just writing them down off the cuff. Things, general things. Some of them these big channels talk about, some do not. Number 1, get out of your comfort zone. This applies to not just trying to be a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer or whatever content creator, but also in general. Every time I force myself to do this, it's been a positive. I've met somebody that has helped out or just been a good connection. I've done something that otherwise I wouldn't have done. I've gained an experience every single time. I'm not saying you got to be doing it 24/7, but if an opportunity comes up and it's kind of out of your comfort zone, take it. That goes as well. I didn't actually write this down. I just thought of it. Any opportunity that comes up, you take it. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out, but it's better that you take it than rather just let it pass by. Learn that the hard way. Find your game, or if you're not a gaming YouTuber, your niche or whatever subject you're talking about. Find whatever you're doing. For me, it took a while. I started out on this channel playing Among Us because it was popping at the time. Then I moved into Minecraft for a while. Wasn't really working out. Then I was kind of just a variety guy doing whatever for a while. Then eventually we got into the Lethal Company areas of, games. Played Lethal Company, play games like it. And that was a whole lot of fun. But of course those games eventually die out. Now I've kind of found where I'm looking of kind of horror games can be fun, but also shooter games. My niche isn't necessarily one type of game genre. It's more of the games I can play with friends that are a fun time that don't require me to be super serious. I know that's very broad, but it works. I find that the games that are the most fun to play with my buddies are the most entertaining content-wise. I really like my Golf with Your Friends video. A lot of people unfortunately didn't get to see it because my channel was being suppressed at the time. I found that to be one of my more just fun, laid-back videos. I found a lot of my recent videos to be some of my best work because I was just having fun. My Pittsburgh vlog was a lot of fun. I do those from time to time. I don't expect them to do well. They're just more fun projects. My content warning video was a lot of fun. My 7 Days to Die video was pretty fun. The Siege video just went up that actually got a little bit of traction. It's probably one of my favorite videos I've ever done in terms of entertainment value. So all I'm saying at this point is it's going to take some time. Experiment while you're small. I still wouldn't consider myself a big channel, obviously, but while you're just starting out, experiment. You want to try FPSs, try FPSs. You want to try a third-person shooter, try them. Survival game, horror game. You'll slowly figure out what type of things work for you and work for your audience. You got to find that balance. Once you find that, you're golden. That goes with types of content as well. If you want to do like top fives, game reviews, you'll eventually come to find what works, what you can do best. This is one that not all these big channels mention. Do not focus on external views. External views do nothing for you. That sounds weird, but it's true. Obviously, when you first get started, yeah, external views might help give you a little bit of a boost, but as you progress, 99% of my views come within YouTube recommendations. I think maybe between 5 and maybe like 10, 15 views on like my best videos came from external. Even now, most of my views still come through YouTube, even when my channel's being suppressed. 99% of them came through YouTube recommendations and YouTube subs. Didn't come from external. Like 2 or 3 came from my Discord, which you can join in the description. But outside of that, I only promote it to mine and my buddies' Discords and on Twitter. That's it. I don't really focus on it. It's just a quick done copy paste thing and that's it. Another one, and this one's controversial maybe. Be careful with shorts. I've learned the hard way. Shorts do not fit every channel. I would not recommend shorts for somebody just getting started. With one caveat. If you're planning to do, and this will get into a point later, if you're planning to do like Twitch highlights or stream highlights as your videos, then you can also do those as shorts, because it doesn't take much more work to crop them properly. But if you're doing something like I'm doing, I don't really stream, I record and just put them up or whatever. It depends on what type of stuff you're doing basically. But I would be careful to do shorts, especially too many shorts, or make it like, if you want to do like a short a week, sure. I just wouldn't make it like, I do daily on the main channel. I wouldn't, if it wasn't for the fact that if I stopped, my channel wouldn't get pushed as much. Kind of got myself stuck in this situation. So be very careful with that and make sure, you know, you're not just putting out shorts for the sake of putting them out, low quality tier shorts. Like I said, if you're doing Twitch highlights, you know, that's one thing. Otherwise, I would be very careful with doing too many shorts or making it like spending too much time on it basically. The other thing with that, like I slightly brought up, focus on no more than 2 platforms out at the beginning. This is something I did, but by accident, because TikTok wasn't around when I started. Instagram didn't have anything except photos, Twitter. It was really just YouTube and Twitch. So it's a lot easier. So if you want to stream on Twitch, post on YouTube, or stream on Kick, post on YouTube, or stream and post on YouTube, I would focus on no more than 2 platforms at the beginning, then you can expand out. Or if you want to do TikTok and YouTube, if you're doing like short form stuff, or if you're doing Twitch and TikTok, whatever it may be, I would stick to 2 and then add a 3rd when you start to build up a little bit of a reputation in a following, and like can actually focus on that. Get good at 1 or 2 platforms and then broaden your horizons. A lot of people tell you get on everything immediately. Doesn't work, because then you'll only be decent at everything and not great at any of them. Kind of alongside that, kind of not, depends. Make each video better than the last. I know people say like make 1% better than the last video or something. Just do one thing differently, whether it be adding in a different type of edit, experimenting with that, changing up your music, or changing up the pacing of your videos, or cutting out a clip here that you might have thought was funny. The hardest thing for me, and this is probably better advice than anything, gotta remember, you may care about everything within that recording of that video. No one else does. I like to try to explain jokes within the video. Most of the times, that just makes the video slower and not as entertaining. Cut it out. Joke, move on. Joke, move on. Don't put fluff in there, because it makes your video worse and people will click off. Bigger YouTubers might be able to get away with a little bit of fluff to pad out the runtime. You cannot. You're starting out, you got no core audience. Nobody cares. That's probably the best advice. Nobody cares when you're starting out. Make them care. Entertain them. Provide value of some sort. That was the hardest thing for me. It took me 9 years to get that one down. And finally, and this one might seem weird, do not outsource, at least for a while. I'm talking getting editors or like thumbnail artists or anything. Obviously, when you're starting out, you're making no money. Unless you, like I said, this goes for people just starting out. They don't have industry experience, or they're not video editors or whatever. You're just starting out. You're not going to be making any money for a very long time. Do not try to outsource and pay these people. Even if you got a day job, these have to pay your bills. Or if you're in high school, save up that money. The best thing you can do at the very beginning is get decent at editing, decent at thumbnails. That way you can actually provide criticism to your editors when you get them, to be like, hey, okay, this is good, but we could do it this way, or whatever. Or teach an editing style to somebody who maybe want an editor and you actually take them on. You know, they may want to be an editor, and then you take them on, teach them your style, yada yada. The only person I would consider outsourcing is if you use something like Fiverr or Upwork. If you want to get thumbnails done, they're usually cheap enough to where, like, if you got a day job, you can cover it. It's usually like 10-15 bucks, some of them. Even with that, if you don't have to, don't. I've done it a couple times. I've had a couple drawn thumbnails. You can tell if you go look on my main channel, JO3. Otherwise, do not outsource for a while. I would only say outsource when it makes sense, to where after you've already gone full-time on YouTube, or at least like part-time on YouTube, where you're making a decent amount from it, and where it makes more sense for you to send that off to an editor to get more work done, make it a full-time career, or get more done with it, whether it be business side or recording more or whatever. If it makes more sense to have somebody else work on it while you do something else, that's when you bring on other people, and that's when you can really even consider going full-time on YouTube. Obviously, I'm not full-time, I'm not even monetized, but that's something I've learned just from looking at other YouTubers, speaking to other YouTubers, both bigger and smaller than myself. Some somewhat bigger than me. That's the number one thing you pick up on, because anyone who starts outsourcing early runs out of money, goes downhill, never works out. And that's about some of my general advice. If you got anything else, feel free to drop it in the comments. I just got the idea to make this video after I just got home from eating dinner. So there you go. This is the new channel. This is kind of what I'm going to be doing, just advice stuff. If you got something, put it in the Google form in the description or in the comments. All right, peace.